Hi everyone, welcome back to Athena's Armor. It's been a few days, but I just wanted to hop back on and do another reading, see what Spirit and God might be trying to share with us in the collective um, for today. So if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I'm very pleased to have you here. Sort of typical tarot channel fare. I try not to come into any readings with any specific messages. Usually, I try not to come into readings with any specific themes, usually, and I try and just receive whatever messages God or Spirit guides me or tells me would be best for the collective, which includes myself. So, the tarot deck that I use is Mahogany Tarot by Kasheera Hickson. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump in. Also, if you're new here, you will recall that my shuffling is somewhat abysmal. I'm getting better as time progresses, but forgive me my amateur shuffling skills here. Also, there'll be times where you hear me ask questions sort of under my breath. Sometimes I'll split the deck or count a certain number of cards down and pull out from the middle of the deck. What's happening is that sometimes I'll get intuitive guidance, or I hear God or Spirit telling me, pull from the top, pull 3 down, pull from the bottom, pull 3 from the bottom. And so when I talk under my breath, I'm sort of double checking, like, okay, did I hear it correctly? Is that what you wanted me to do? Oh, and as I was shuffling there, the hangman didn't pop out, but he flipped over a little bit for me to see. So maybe there's something, a little sub message about perspective and changing our perspective and changing the way that we experience life. Who knows? But thought that was interesting. Say my prayer that I normally do. God, we ask that this reading consists of your messages and messages relayed by only those spirits and energies that you ordain, that are of your goodness and your mission. God, we thank you for your clear, concise, and of course, helpful messages for the collective. And we pray that whoever comes across this video can get something that can brighten their day or give them a little more hope or guidance or even just reassurance for a little while. Amen. All right. Told to pull from the bottom. Do my regular 3-card spread. Front or back? Okay. Okay. So what I normally do is I flip these around for you guys like this. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Very interesting energy. I think we see what's sticking out first and foremost. We have Mr. Emperor, right? A very imposing card and energy. But what's calling to me is 2 of Wands, which is another pretty clear manifestation card. 2 of Wands is similar to the 3 of Wands. But in 2 of Wands, we see somebody, interestingly enough, who already seems pretty confident and adept in his, not so much his ability to manifest, but in his belief in his ability to manifest. Right? As you can see, he literally already has the whole world in his hands. And he's stabilizing himself with one of the wands, which we know the wands represent innovation, action, imagination, getting things done, creating things, creation, right? So right here, I see a person who's pretty confident in their ability to manifest, which may lead into the Emperor energy. The Emperor is, like we say, he's in charge. If there's a council of kings, right, in the deck, the Emperor is in charge of all of them. So he has the best traits and qualities of all of the suits of the tarot deck. When it comes to cups and emotions, he has a grasp on that. He's in his emotions healthily. He's, knows how to access them. Pentacles, he's very materially abundant and generous. Wands, like we said, he can create, he can imagine, and then turn his imagination into action, into creation. And then swords, he is also adept in the realm of logic and reason and truth and making choices with the head over the heart whenever that's called for. So if you are in Emperor energy, I don't feel like I'm being called to put a gender to this in terms of whoever is watching in the collective. I feel like from the creation, from the intentions of the creators of the tarot, which there have been many, and there's different versions of tarot and things like that. But when we think about Thelema and what we're used to, masculine represents very much fiery, going after something, directed energy. Whereas feminine represents very much so more receptive energy. Not to say that you cannot create from reception, because women, babies are, created from feminine receptive energy, right? But it's a different type of energy. And I'm thinking this Two of Wands with the Emperor is showing me somebody who is prepared to manifest the life that they want. We've been getting a lot about manifestation, which is interesting to me. I don't know if the collective in general might be on a manifestation journey, because I know I am, and I've been seeing a lot of results actually, which I might come on and make a video about. But something is telling me there's a confidence boost in whoever may be watching in terms of their ability and their belief in themselves in order to manifest. They have everything it takes. That's what the Emperor basically sort of represents. You have everything it takes. And you have a confidence in yourself, a belief in yourself. I think what's interesting, yes, and I'm hearing yes, that's true, because I was about to say this. I think what's interesting is that I may be sensing a little loneliness from the collective. Granted, yes, this was in the upright when I flipped it for you guys. So normally that means you're entering into a period, or you are in a period of camaraderie and friendship and community and, the cornucopia, um, friendship and goodwill towards other people. But part of how I read this when I first saw it, and what Spirit sort of confirmed for me when I asked, was that you may be longing for this energy in your life at this moment. Community, a friendship group, or even if not friends, camaraderie, right? People who you feel get you and celebrate you, and you get them and you celebrate them and you click, right? You may be feeling sort of a longing for this, where even where you're feeling confident in yourself and your creative abilities and your manifesting abilities, what you might feel is missing is that camaraderie and that socialization. So let's read on that a little bit more and see, what that might be telling us. Okay, pull from the top here. My goodness, it is a noisy day outside. Sorry if you're hearing cars and shouts and whatever, what have you. Wow. Okay. Wow. Collective. What is going on? We have been getting like manifestation messages like crazy. I know y'all about to get sick of me saying manifestation. But wow, Ace of Wands, which is really just, let's just look at the card. What a beautiful card the Ace of Wands is. Really just a beautiful, I don't know, when I look at it, I can almost feel like the breeze in the air, like the refreshing breeze in the air. But Ace of Wands, what we know is Ace is the ultimate. Ace is the purest energy of the suit. So we have the purest energy of the creation suit, and it's coming from pretty much divine intervention. So let me ask, I'm trying to see how that ties into the Three of Cups. Right? Oops, sorry. I didn't realize I was blocking the light. How does this tie into the Three of Cups? Okay, interesting. I heard the two words patience and protection. So what I get from that intuitively is that God, spirit, the universe, whoever you believe in, is going to send you your group, your people. Oh my gosh, the noisiest. This is the noisiest reading to date. That's okay. That's okay. We're gonna push through it. We're gonna push through it. Patience and protection. Part of the reason you may not have received this yet, or may be feeling like this is being withheld from you yet, is that God is protecting you and is asking you to have patience. See, normally that comes through the Temperance card, which is interesting. But you can also see that, again, Ace of Wands, this is not necessarily something that you're doing with the aces. Aces are divine intervention. So part of what I'm thinking, and we can pull cards to see if I'm on the right track, is that God is protecting you and has a time and a moment where he will bring this into your life through maybe manifestation, through maybe something that you manifest, right? It might not even be, you can, of course, manifest this. You can visualize or script or whatever you do, affirm having good friends who are good people who genuinely have your back and want the best for you and you for them, right? But maybe God is saying this, it might come differently than what you're expecting. That's what I'm trying to say. Blah, la, 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 la. I say so much and then I get around to it. The camaraderie that you're missing and wanting may show up differently than what you're expecting. And that's and that's for your protection. And God is asking you to have patience, because it will come in, but it might look differently than what you're manifesting. What God is bringing in might look different from what you're manifesting. Okay, let's see. Are there any other messages? Any other messages? If you guys keep hearing a creaking sound or a popping sound, it's my rolly chair. I have a different cushion on it today, which I think is not happy on the rolly chair. I keep being told to pull from the bottom today. That's interesting. One card or two? One from the top, one from the bottom. Okay, so from the bottom we have, wow, look, the Three of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. You know what's interesting? I normally try to stay away from super predictive readings because I don't know how useful they are, right? But sort of what I'm being hit with is that you might manifest a job or a professional, whatever you do professionally, or even, as a hobby, whatever. I would classify it as a 10th house activity. So those of you who are into astrology, in Vedic astrology, which is what I've been dabbling and studying in, 10th house are matters of, they call it career, profession, but it's also your public image, your place as a public figure. What I'm getting is that some 10th house matter, a King of Pentacles type, so a boss or an investor or a mentor with money and resources to give you, may connect you to your group, to your people, and you all may build something together, right? That's the vibe I'm getting from those two cards. And that might be why it's unexpected, because Three of Cups is very much, it's beautiful, but it's very much like Sex in the City vibes, right? Like girlfriends getting together, having fun, dancing, Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's essential to life at certain points of life, right? But what I'm thinking is like what we were saying, when that camaraderie in your relationship with people might look different than what you're expecting, it could be that either a boss, somebody who hires you, a wealthy man, or a wealthy woman, or a wealthy person in their King of Pentacles energy, right, who invests in you. That's what I'm getting. Again, I try not to do too much predictive stuff, but what I'm getting is a wealthy, maybe even older person in authority invests in you, be it by hiring you or invests in a project of yours financially or takes you under their wing, and you will get connected with like-minded people with which you will build something very fruitful and important and long-lasting with. Because they're building a church out of stone, right? Y'all know how long those last. When I visited France when I was a kid, I saw a church that was well over 1,000 years old when it first started being built, right? So keep an open mind for that. This camaraderie and this community might come from a different place than you think. Oh my gosh. Most stressful reading. My computer just fell asleep. Oh my gosh. We're going to push through. We're going to push through. We're going to make it through. We're going to make it through, folks. Because this is interesting. This is very interesting. Okay. All right. Should I pull more cards? Yeah. I heard yeah loud and clear. Just from the top. Shuffle. Okay, pull the bottom. Wow, Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so yeah, I think we're definitely onto something here. I think there's definitely going to be something about your material comfort and I said that right? Material comfort, yes, and abundance. Ace of Pentacles. There's definitely going to be something about your material comfort and abundance. And they said, I'm right. I asked in my head, am I right that it's not going to come as you expect? And they said, yes, you're right. So the camaraderie is not going to come as you expect. As we said, it might not look like how you've been manifesting, but it's going to come how God is planning. And the abundance is not going to come how you expect, possibly. But it seems very clear to me that it's coming. And a lot of that has to do with, let's not forget, your confidence, your growing confidence in your ability to manifest and manifest well. And God is going to send people into your life. Like I said, an older person, I'm getting male, but it could be anyone in an authority position who wants to invest in you or take you under their wing or mentor you, who will connect you to people that you build something abundant and prosperous with. And that abundance will come through divine interaction, right? Okay, let's see. Any more messages? Oop, somebody wanted to come out. And look who it is. Look who it is. Didn't I just say a few minutes ago, Temperance is usually the card for peace and patience and protection. Temperance. This is so fascinating. I think what you're being asked to do is to have temperance. You're being asked to trust the process and and trust that God, the universe, your higher self, whoever you believe in, wants what's best for you and is protecting you if certain things are not entering your life or if certain things are exiting your life. And it's for your protection and you're being asked to have patience. I understand that feels a little condescending because I've had people tell me that too and I get annoyed. But I think ultimately we can all agree it's true, right? If when you wanted to drive when you were 12 and your parents just said, oh yeah, sure, right? That would not be good, despite how badly we wanted it. You're being protected and your patience pays off because then you're safe. You're safer. And you're wiser and you're smarter and you know what you're doing. I think that's what we're seeing here with Temperance, and I'm so glad that it came out, because that's what the Ace of Wands was giving me when I first got it, and that message, patience and protection. Truly, truly, again, like I said, I try to stay away from predictive readings, and it's not predictive. I believe everybody who's watching this, your abundance and your ideal life and your comfort and your peace and your freedom, that's a given to me. I believe in you. If there's one person in the world who believes in you, it's me. I don't think there's anybody on earth who can't have that life. And I know it sounds glib and, maybe a little dismissive with all of the horrible things that are going on in the world right now. But if you're watching this, if you wonder if there's one person in the world who believes in you, it's this lady right here. I see no reason why you cannot live a happy, fulfilling, peaceful, comfortable, free life, despite what you've experienced, despite what you may be experiencing now. You keep staying in this energy, brace yourself, say, I know what my power is. See how he's holding his wand? He says, I know what my power is, and I know that this whole world, I have it in the palm of my hand. If you stay in that energy, I have no reason to doubt that you can have the life of your dreams. And that's how I feel about that. Just remember, if the things that you quote unquote try to manifest are not coming to fruition in the way that you would like them to, or would like to see them come to fruition, a lot of times that's for your protection. Because you can manifest whatever you want. We're manifesting every day. I'm not trying to preach or get into my preaching thing, but we're manifesting every minute of every day. Because all manifesting is thinking. And believing, more importantly. We can think a lot of crazy things that aren't true. They don't all come true, but what we believe comes true. So, say if you're trying to manifest friends, right? But you think, oh, they can only come through whatever the internet tells you or your therapist tells you. Love therapy, by the way. Please, if you have the opportunity, find a therapist who clicks with you, because I've done it for years and I am so much the better for it. But I'm saying the beliefs that we hold in us from what society has told us, our teachers, our peers, our friends, our parents, our siblings, therapists, doctors, people on TV, whoever, that, oh, this is how you make friends. You go to common interest groups, you go to meetups, you go out to the bar, you join a adult sports league, you ba 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 ba, right? We can almost subconsciously, unconsciously limit ourselves, right, to that, to those avenues where God says, well, wait a minute. I could connect you to people however I want. The universe says, wait a minute. I have infinite avenues to connect you to people. God says, the universe says, you think I only have, a sports league, common interest groups, a meetup, school or class, job, church, friends. Well, you think I only have about whatever else, 10 ways in my infinite ways of connecting you with a group of people? 8 billion of y'all on this earth, I only have 10 ways of connecting you to people. Would you think that low of me? That's what God is saying. That's what the universe is saying. And all he's asking us to do is to let, I say him, because again, my conditioning, but all God and the universe is asking us to do is to allow it, them, him, her, to give it to us the way that is best aligned with the universal purpose and with our own health, path, safety, life, universal plan, right? And that's where the patience to let the universe deliver it in the perfect way. If you're raised Christian or, an Abrahamic religion, you've heard similar phrases. God's ways are perfect, right? The universe's ways are perfect. That's what this card means. So whatever you're trying to manifest into your life, sure, you can even, visualize living your Carrie Bradshaw life in New York City. I've been watching And Just Like That, so, if I'm bringing up Sex in the City a lot, it's because I'm trying to get through that show. We'll chat about that after, but even if you visualize, at a bar with a couple other women laughing and talking and having drinks and, winking at a cute guy, that's great. But remember, even as a lot of the manifestation teachers have said, that the image of the thing is not what we're going for. It's the feeling. So when we visualize, I'm not going to tell people have to. We can learn to be okay with what I'm visualizing may not come to pass exactly the way I'm seeing it. But the feeling that I'm wanting, camaraderie, fun, flirtiness, friendship, that has to come to pass if I keep inviting it into my life. If I keep inviting that feeling into my life through visualization, through affirmation, through whatever, what have you, that feeling has to be fulfilled eventually. And it will happen very quickly if resistance is given up, right? And it's easier said than done. But I think part of the journey towards releasing resistance is saying, I accept that this might not look exactly like how I want it to look or how I think it should look. Now, some people disagree with me. Some people would say that, you should be able to manifest the exact moment down to the color of the tablecloth when you go out on a date with your specific person, right? I don't necessarily think that's wrong. And, Neville Goddard speaks a lot about his visualizations matching almost to a T what he later experienced. But I think what might help to release resistance is to say the fulfillment of these feelings that I'm seeking and wanting, I'm okay if they don't look exactly like how I think they would or should. That's all I'm saying about that. Sorry. Long topic. Like I said, we have been on the manifestation train, honey, for a minute here, but it's clearly important for the collective. And temperance, again, I think speaks to maybe letting go of resistance through patience and knowing that certain things are withheld for our protection. And if we can say, this is something I had to start saying a couple days ago, and trust me when I tell you, by no means is your girl perfect. But something I felt compelled to start practicing a couple days ago is just writing down, no, it's okay. Everything is exactly as it should be at this moment. When I would get bored, when I would get ants in my pants, when I would get aggy, when I would get something should be happening, I should be hearing back from jobs, I should be hearing back from this, I should be hearing back from that, I should be getting a check from this, I should be da 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 da. I had to start writing down, like almost like a little mantra, no, it's okay. Everything is perfect. Everything is exactly as it should be at this moment. And you'll be surprised. At first, it may piss you off and you may push back against it. But then eventually, you'll go, you know what? I guess it is. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening. That's what started happening to me. Okay, so enough advice time with Athena. I'm gonna, I think, pull one more set of cards. Should I pull three more? Three more? One more or three more? Okay, I've been told to pull three more. Three more. Y'all, what is really going on? Tell me. Do y'all know what is really going on? Because I would love for y'all to tell me what is really going on. In order of what I pulled, Knight of Wands, the Magician, and the Star. Bro, the universe is on the collective heavy about manifestation. Heavy. I think y'all could tell me every reading we've had, maybe except for one, we've pulled the Magician. Knight of Wands. People call it fiery, impulsive action. And knights are usually quick. That's their except for the Knight of Pentacles. He's slow. He moves slow. But knights are usually about swift and being swift and taking action. You know what I always found interesting about the Knight of Wands? The pyramids in the back. And so the Order of the Golden Dawn, which the Rider-Waite Tarot is sort of born out of. Egypt was like the mystical homeland with the height of occultic and esoteric knowledge, right? So we have the Knight of Wands, a fiery energy. The homeland, I'm sorry, I keep blocking the light. The homeland of esoteric knowledge. I think this ties back into the beginning of the reading where the collective might be experiencing a newfound confidence in their abilities to manifest. Because again, wands often speak to manifestation in a minor suit way, right? And then of course, the pyramids, esoteric knowledge. The collective may be fired up, or many people in the collective may be fired up about their esoteric knowledge and confident in it. And I like that, right? Because that's the message we're getting, that you're onto something. Because boom, the Magician, he shows up again. He loves us, y'all. He loves us. He cannot stay away from the readings. I love it. Please keep coming back if that's what you need us to know. But the magician, again, those who have been here know the manifestation card in the deck, the magician. And the star. Oop. Maybe I should have covered her up, but that's okay. That's okay. The star. Isn't she beautiful? The star, man. The star is a card of rebirth, renewal, healing. And if I really, break it down, being okay with stepping into your own main character energy. Remembering, wait, I am the star of my own movie. My life is my story. And with the water jugs, let me see if I can move my finger. Yeah, you can see she's replenishing her own child with this light. I'm so sorry. I'm all over the place. She's replenishing her own store, her own emotional store. And it's never running out because she's replenishing it over the tributaries that lead into her major store of water, and she's replenishing the major store of water. The star card is a beautiful card of I am my own healer. I have that ability, I have that power, and I can heal myself, and I can be reborn and refreshed and renewed in the energy and the environment and the life that I want to live. Because I feel so many of us, so many of us, especially if you've grown up in toxic or dysfunctional upbringings, if you have childhood trauma, if you have people in your life, parents or parent figures who were overbearing and they came first and they were more important and they overwhelmed everyone emotionally wherever they were, including their kids, right? So many of us grow up in environments where we truly think that our story is about someone else. We truly feel uncomfortable being like, wait, my life isn't my dad's or my mom's or my siblings or my aunts or my grandmas or my uncles or my grandpas. My life is my own. And all these people throughout my life who have tried to hijack my life, hijack my heart, hijack my emotions for their own gain and benefit and whatever emotional wounds that they were trying to heal and they thought they could heal through hijacking other people's emotional space and denigrating it or dismissing it or making it less important than theirs. My life is my own. And not only do I need those people to apologize to me or change their ways or become different people or be nicer or I can refill my own stores. My life is my story and I can refill my own stores. Not a damn person is needed. Look at the star. Look at the star. Look at her closely. Not a damn other person is needed to refill her own stores. So maybe the message if you have some trauma that you feel may be holding you back or causing you resistance when you try and manifest, or takes you out of this Knight of Wands energy, this confidence and this excitement about manifesting. Because of something somebody in your past or even your present might have said to you or says to you or insinuates you don't deserve it, or you should be thinking about them all the time, or they're the only ones that matter. No. That's when we go into our star energy and be like, regardless what you think, regardless what you may have tried to convince me of, regardless of what you may have tried to force upon me in terms of beliefs and thoughts and importance, my life is my own life. I am the main character of my own life. Me. This life is about me. And again, some of us who have been raised in toxic family dynamics, it might feel uncomfortable to say that. Because we might think, oh, well, if we do that, then we're being like, our narcissistic parent or our emotionally immature parent. No. There's nothing inherently narcissistic about saying, my life is about me. What's narcissistic is when we start to go like the narcissists in our life, or the emotionally immature and toxic people in our life, or the energy vampires in our life. My life is about me, but also your life is about me too. And his life is about me too. And her life is about me too. Everyone's life is about me. Matter of fact, everything is about me. And so I can operate from that space. I don't have to pay any regard to anyone else's boundaries because everything is about me. That's narcissistic. Getting into our star energy and saying, my life for sure is about me, is not narcissistic. And it's healthy. And I think that's a message that the collective is being sent. See, they just cheered outside. They said, go on ahead, girl. I'll get a little personal because I think if it might help the message. A couple months ago, it might have even been a year ago now, I started thinking about these people in my life, and I said, I've spent so many hours of my life psychologically analyzing these people. Like I am their personal Sigmund Freud, like I'm their personal Carl Jung. So many hours of my life, unpaid, unappreciated, unheard, psychoanalyzing these people on my own time when I was hundreds of miles away, by myself, psychoanalyzing these people. Hours of my own time. I had really been convinced that their life was my life, that their psychological landscape and the events that they were going through was my job. To study and dissect and go over and figure out. Like I said, unappreciated. If I presented my findings, would they change? No. If I presented my findings, would they even take it well? Probably not. But I had spent so many hours of my life on them, psychoanalyzing them. And I realized that's when I was coming out of my star energy. I was letting them be the main characters of my own life, of my own internal monologue. And I said that has to stop. So now when I catch myself going into a spiral, I nip it in the bud because I have to. Because there's so many hours in a day, so many hours in a life that we have to get into our star energy and be like, no, 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 this life is my life. This life is about me. And I felt lighter. Have they changed? A little bit, not much. Do they still do and say things that, belie their core personalities and the people they've chosen to be? Yeah, absolutely. Do I sit and analyze it for hours now? No. If I have to assert a boundary, I will. If it's not worth it, I say, well, that's them being them. And I go to another room, or I hang up the phone, or I say I gotta go. And I refrain from putting myself in a similar situation where that can happen again. So I think it's beautiful. I think it's really beautiful that the stars showed up. I really, really do. I think that's beautiful that the stars showed up. Because part of what can block us in our manifesting really is giving a lot of power and mind space, right? And energy to people whose lives are theirs, are not ours. And we deserve to claim fully our own lives. Whew. All right. Well, that was a bit of a deep one. But I hope this was helpful for at least some people tuning in. I know I talked a lot about my own personal life, tried to save it to the end when I felt called and compelled. But I think this is a beautiful reading. Just to recap, right? You are getting more confident in your abilities to manifest. I love that. Beautiful. Remember, our visions for the future may not always match what God and the universe knows is best for us. So, one of the most helpful ways to not close ourselves off to receiving temperance is being patient and knowing that if things unfold and not like what we're expecting, it's for our protection, and we're being asked to be patient. And that they will unfold with the feeling, what you're going for, what you're looking for will unfold. It just might not unfold the way you think. And the sooner that we can allow for that, I think the quicker, honestly, we can be fulfilled, right? Through manifestation. And that's what these final 3 cards are showing us. Scoot it up a little more. The passion for manifesting, for using this ancient knowledge that we have known since pretty much the beginning of time, as above, so below. Allowing ourselves to dive into that by what? By embodying the star energy. By reclaiming our lives as solely our own, right? We can love people in our lives. We can care for people in our lives. There are a lot of times in our lives where we're going to put people above ourselves, our children, people who need us. But not giving our life to somebody else to live, not giving the majority of our brain to somebody else's life, right? And behavior and actions, reclaiming our life, replenishing our own stores, our own emotional stores, not depending on anyone outside of us to replenish it for us. not depending on an apology, not depending on changed behavior, not depending on anything external. And that's the last thing I want to say. If you're in a situation that's toxic, the first step really is the star energy. The first step really is reclaiming our life and being like, if I truly believed my life was entirely my own, would I put up with this situation? And you'll be surprised what the answer might be. All right, my beloved friends, my beloved fellow collective. Again, I hope this was helpful. I thank you so much for coming and sitting and watching this reading. If you made it to this point, I appreciate you so much. Remember, like I said, I believe in you. Stay blessed. Stay hopeful. Stay strong. And I will see you on the next one.